We have got a very big interview coming up with the Robinhood CEO. You will not want to miss that. That is later this hour. Lawmakers are demanding answers this hour to trading halts today on some of these high-flying names, including your next guest. He put out a letter today reading, "We're done letting hedge fund billionaires treat the stock market like their personal playground, then taking their ball home as soon as they lose." Joining us now is Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California. Congressman, welcome to the show. Great to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
There are going to be hearings, and I'm wondering what you hope to accomplish.
Well, this just exposes the deep flaw in our financial system. What you have is hedge funds. They take out these short bets. Then they go on television and they tell everyone, sell. It's total manipulation. It's not encouraging productive investment. We need to have better regulation and better enforcement on these short sellers. And Gary Gensler, I think, will do that at the SEC.
Is it just short sellers? Is there something about short selling that attracts this kind of scrutiny? Because people on the long side of trades do that same thing. And let's be clear, when you say manipulate, that is not the definition of market manipulation as put forth in securities law.
Well, I'm not saying it's insider trading, although I need to look at exactly what happened. I do think most Americans will think if you're shorting a stock and you have something to gain, and then you're going on television and encouraging people to sell that stock, that's not helpful, and that the people are making a fortune on this. Some of the laws have to be enforced, and we need better regulation over this kind of predatory speculation. And then when you have finally sort of investors at Reddit try to take their own action because our system doesn't allow it, you have Robinhood stop the trading. I mean, I don't understand under what authority they are violating the terms of their service. And they're claiming they have capital requirements. What capital requirements? They aren't invested personally.
So what is your message to the Wall Street Bets community, Congressman? I mean, what ultimately do you say, keep going, press them, bring Wall Street to their knees? Because this is how we show the inequality of the system?
No, they're Americans that have the freedom to do whatever they want. My job isn't to tell them how to invest. My job is to make sure that they have the same rights as every other American. And I don't understand how you can have a service like Robinhood, which under the terms of service tells people that they can trade, and then just stop those terms. And by the way, Robinhood, you can ask the CEO when he comes on, makes part of their money by selling this data to the hedge funds. So there's something there that they have to gain by listening to the hedge funds. Now, I don't know what their rationale is. I do know they put out this statement saying they have capital requirements and SEC requirements, but I don't understand what requirements. They're not personally investing in GameStop. It's the investors. They're just a neutral platform. So how can they just stop suddenly the trades with no notification?
Yeah, I know it's hard to sort of, plot this out, Congressman, but, in your view, do you think that there will be more regulations being placed on the likes of a Robinhood in the next year or two?
Yes, there are going to be three consequences of this. There are going to be more regulations on hedge funds. And finally, I think people are going to say the carried interest loophole needs to go. The financial system isn't working. People are angry out there at what's going on. Second, there are going to be regulations on Robinhood, that you have to be a fair platform. But the biggest thing, and this is important to I think, know, 48% of Americans are not in the stock market. There are many people who want jobs, good jobs, and this investment isn't helping create our productive capacity. It's not building manufacturing. It's not building investment. We need an economy that's going to build things, make things, not just speculative bubbles that is not helping 50% of Americans.
Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Representative Ro Khanna. Courtney, what do you make of this? I mean, it sounds like they're intent on trying to change the system.
They are, and regardless of kind of why that's come about, everything happens kind of in arrears, right? It would have been great for someone to kind of dug in the fine print sooner. But if this has brought to the forefront the need for, I won't call it additional regulation because that scares the market, but different regulations in order to keep our markets safe for all participants, I think everyone would be open to that. And I want us to really be clear from a statistical perspective, right? Like, let's not sit and pretend by allowing retail investors to participate that they're suddenly going to overthrow the market, right? We cover institutional investors at my firm, and 80% of the assets, right? 80% are held by institutions. Okay, so there's not going to be some overthrowing of the system and everything's going to go to you know what in a handbasket. Let's be honest about what this means. If you can have people participate in the markets, however that may be, whether it's day trading, whether they decide to be long-term investors, buy and hold, or whether they're traders, which we appreciate on this network and in this marketplace, they have the ability to participate on a level playing field. And I think, or at least I hope, that's what our legislative individuals and representatives will work to achieve on behalf of this country. So they may not get anywhere with it, but ultimately it does sound like folks are willing to kind of work across the aisle to think of a better way to provide regulations in our markets.
Yeah, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, the congressman mentioned, being productive investment, that sort of thing. I mean, I think Leon Cooperman said it very well on Scott Wapner's show at noon today, is that GameStop was not a productive company. Their earnings and sales were declining. It was a bricks and mortar business that really didn't need to exist anymore. And the capitalist free market system was actually working. So the situation that we have right now, make no mistake about it, Mel, GameStop traded 500 today, and it closed today at what, 193. Who do you think got hurt here today in this game? And I just don't appreciate having all these billionaire influencers, come on air, go on Twitter, and kind of egging these guys on and thinking that they have their backs. They're not going to be buying this stock the whole way down from them when they're searching for a bid as it's crashing 10% at a clip. And so I just think there's a lot of goofiness going on right here. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the little guy who gets screwed in the end. It's just that simple. It happens that way every single time. I don't know why it's going to be different this time. And this is a little bubble. It's a little part of the market here, but it seems to be like moth to a flame for these retail investors, these Robinhood people, these Reddit people who want to play here. It's not going to work out well for them. They might have taken out some fancy billionaire hedge fund guys, but let me tell you something. They're lining up to get in their places one way or another. And you can't regulate that as far as a free market concerned, but you can regulate collusion. You can encourage these companies that are very well funded to educate their users and understand what they're doing.
All right. Coming up, we're getting closer to the big interview that you do not want to miss. The CEO of Robinhood will join us in moments. Stay with us.